On this show, we cover some sensitive topics.
Though the obituaries may be outlandish, the people are real.
Names have been changed or omitted in order to respect both the deceased and the survived by.
While death is no laughing matter, some petty last words can provide some pretty entertaining comic relief.
Welcome to Obituary.
Welcome back to Obituary. I'm Madison Reyes.
And I'm Spencer Henry.
That was weird.
A little different.
A little different. Switch it up every now and then.
Are you guys thrown off? Guess what? It means that it's a lucky day.
A lucky
Yeah,
day.
whenever Madison does it first, that'll mean you're going to have a lucky day.
Ooh, okay. Lucky girl syndrome.
Yeah, baby. Well, you weren't feeling so lucky the other day because, Madison, I called you 5 times in a row because you didn't answer your phone.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
I don't respect boundaries. Well, I don't think we really have boundaries.
I don't think we do. You did, and I wasn't answering because I was in a hole, honey.
She was panicking.
I was panicking. Oh my gosh. I got a little work done to my face.
Yes, ma'am.
Got a little liquid rhinoplasty.
Oh, baby, and it looks sharp.
It looks good. And a little under eye
Yeah.
filler action. And I love it. And it has turned out so great. I really, really, really love it. But then I'm on TikTok and I'm like, I want to see other people's results, you know? Like, and so I'm like looking, and like every video is like the dangers of getting liquid whatever done because it's the vessels, it's so close to your eyes. And I was sitting there like, what did I do?
Madison was convinced that she was going to lose her eyesight.
Yeah.
You didn't.
I didn't. Thank the Lord. And the doctor who did it is absolutely incredible. And
Shout him out.
Dr. Marcus, we love you. Spencer's been going to him for years.
Don't drag me into this, man. What the fuck? I didn't say nothing. Yeah, I've got a little, just skin treatments there.
Yeah, that's it.
The Dr. Marcus is great. Their team is incredible. They have offices. This is not a sponsored thing at all, but I want to fucking let you guys know Dr. Marcus is a king. He is a facial plastic surgeon.
Good.
So fucking good. Such a likable dude. And he has an office in Manhattan Beach where we normally go. And then he also has one in Redondo. And it's not super close, but it's worth the fucking drive every time because there's one thing you shouldn't fuck around with. You've listened to the obituary episode. Mm-hmm. We've talked about botched, on here. And you don't want to fuck around with that kind of stuff. Mm-mm. You know, if there's one thing to splurge on, it's anything being injected into your body.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Should we talk about how you had a little stint where you worked at a place? We won't say which one.
Oh my God. I worked at Laser Away.
Okay.
Which is it's like a, I don't know if you'd call it a med spa.
It's like a chain.
It's like a chain where you get, hair removal, you get filler, it's like cosmetic, whatever.
That was your like blow up doll era.
Yeah, and everything I got done there, I really loved. I ended up quitting after 6 months because I am a horrible salesperson. I could not, my job was to, sell these packages to people. Right? I would be like, these seem really fucking expensive. I don't think I'd want to buy them either, I was terrible.
But I remember when you got that job because we went out to dinner. It was like you, me, someone else. And you came in with this little binder and we helped you practice how to call people. And,
I had to cold call people.
Yeah.
100 a day.
That was crazy.
That was insane. But what was really cool was the benefits of it. You would get a 30-minute treatment every month for free and stuff like that. And so
yeah, you liked it. You just didn't like the cold call.
Yeah, it is weird. when your fellow coworkers see your whole asshole.
Or like, yeah, they're like in your snatch.
Yeah, I would get like everything removed and they'd be like, okay, like spread your cheeks. And I'd be like, okay, I have to see you every day.
Wait, speaking of assholes.
Okay.
Should we just do that?
Let's do it.
Okay. This first one says, am I the asshole for telling my stepkids that the house is mine? Your father left it to me and you're not getting it.
Oh, God.
Well, let's hear him out. It says, I'm using stepkids to make it clearer. My husband passed away. I married him when his kids were all adults. They have never been nice to me since they see my husband replacing his late wife.
Okay.
To be honest, it's been a shit show with them. They've never respected that I'm married to him. Any wedding invites or events, they make it clear that I'm not wanted there. Argument after argument. A few years ago, I told him to stop fighting with them about letting me come to events. When he goes out, I'll get a spa or something. The whole situation made him very angry at his kids, and when he passed, everything went to me. This included the kids' childhood home. Ever since, they have been on my ass about selling it to one of the kids. They want the home to be a family home. They've made it very clear they don't think I'm family, even if I am their father's widow. I got another call about it. I had enough and told them that the house is mine. Your father left it to his widow. You're not getting it. They called me an asshole. I want to see if I'm being a bitch about it since I have this bias.
I don't know. That's a tough one.
It's a tough one.
That is a real tough one. Because I understand, like, I can try to understand her feeling like, well, fuck these people. They weren't fucking nice to me ever.
Uh-huh.
But then also I understand the other people's, the kids' side.
They're adults, first of all. Let me say this. Well, first of all, we're hearing it from her point of view, right? She's like, they didn't want anything to do with me. And
that's
blah,
true.
Blah, blah. One thing that stuck out to me was like, no, I say just go and I'll just go get a spa or something. It's like a little high maintenance seeming to me. But I personally would sell the house to the kids. I'd be like, okay, you're paying fucking market value for this house is what you're going to do. Just because I wouldn't want to be in the house knowing that they want it because I'd feel petty or something. But
right.
I don't know.
Well, good luck.
So maybe not an asshole. Kind of an asshole.
Yeah,
kind
like
asshole.
half.
Yeah, you're like
half a
hole.
cheek. Oh, half a hole.
This one says, am I the asshole for canceling on my brother's wedding to go to my stepbrother's grandfather's funeral?
Okay.
My half-brother, Harry, 27, is getting married on Saturday. Harry and I have the same mother, different dads. When I, 21, was 13, my dad cheated on my mother and my parents broke up. Obviously, my father was wrong for what he did, and Harry has not spoken to my father since. As I was only 13 when my parents divorced, they had split custody, so I had to go to my dad's every other week. 6 months after the divorce, my dad started openly dating the woman he cheated on my mother with, and they got married about a year after that. So my father's mistress is now my stepmother. My stepmother has a son, Damien, who is 12 now. My relationship with my father and stepmother is still kind of strained and tense or awkward, despite the time that has passed because of how everything went down. I am, however, very close to Damien. I spent a lot of time at my dad's with him, probably starting as a way to avoid having to speak to either my dad or stepmom. Damien is my little brother. I love him. I feel as protective of him as I think Harry did of me when I was younger. That's his older brother. My stepmother's dad passed away on Monday. The funeral is also on Saturday in another state. I never met him. On Monday, my brother called me asking if I would come to pick him up, which I did. Damien is so upset. This is the first death he's experienced. When we went for a drive, we got about 5 minutes down the street and he just cried and he didn't stop for over an hour. When I took him back home, he had a stiff upper lip and told my dad and stepmom that he was okay, but I knew he wasn't. When I talked to them, they said he hadn't really reacted all day. Tuesday, I woke up to like 10 missed calls from him, and when I called him back, he just said he wanted to make sure I was alive. I picked up Damien again on Tuesday, and my dad told me that he'd been fine that day. Again, we got 5 minutes from the house and he broke down. Damien admitted today that he's terrified of the funeral, and I feel like I should be there to support him. I mentioned it to Harry and my mother, and both were furious with me. They both keep talking about how I'm supporting my dad's mistress instead of my own family, and Harry noted that I never met the man who passed. But from my view, I wouldn't be going for my dad. I'm going for Damien. I haven't even told my dad or stepmom my plan. Harry's going to have all of his family, minus me, and a few friends around him for the happy occasion, while Damien is going to his first funeral. I was supposed to be a groomsman in the the wedding, but I'm not one of the two best men. I think Damien needs me more, hence my decision to go to the funeral. But Harry and my mother's reaction, plus 2 of the friends I spoke to today saying I need to go to the funeral, has me questioning if I'm being an asshole by canceling last minute.
If you're a groomsman, you can't miss the wedding.
You got to go to the wedding.
You've got to go. And you can support Damien from afar. You know, you can be on the phone with him. You can check in on him.
Yeah.
You can support him right before, right after. You
cannot
miss
your brother's wedding.
Yeah, no.
To go to the funeral for your other brother's grandpa who you never met.
Also, sometimes you have to just do hard things, and Damien's gonna have to learn that. And he'll have his mom and his stepdad or whatever.
It's a dichotomy.
Yeah, it's not the right episode.
We just keep saying it all the time. It's our new thing.
Ooh, dichotomy.
It's just really, it's the dichotomy of it all.
It is. It's hard.
Life's hard.
Life's a dichotomy, baby.
Yeah, you caught me sometimes, and other times you die.
What does dichotomy mean?
I don't know.
Dichotomy meaning a division into 2, especially mutually exclusive or contradictory groups of entities. So I did use it right last time.
I didn't say you didn't. You said I don't think you were unsure.
I don't even know how I learned that word.
Probably Real Housewives or something, maybe.
Maybe. I am a dichotomy.
Oh, sure. Sorry, I kind of hijacked. I can't hear the word asshole and not transition to the asshole.
Oh my God. I think that's great.
Oh, thank you. It's really just the dichotomy of it.
Just the dichotomy of it. Okay, wait. I have a listener email, Spencer.
Uh-huh.
Remember your episode 2 or 3 ago about the sex toys?
Oh, baby, do I.
And remember we asked people to write in their stories?
Oh, God. I just saw someone comment today that they found their grandfather's penis pump.
Oh, good for him. Good for the grandpa. I love that. Well, this says, Spencer and Madison, I am cackling over the latest episode, finding your deceased loved one's sex toys. I had to pause to write in because this happened to my mom and I. My grandparents had not yet passed at this point, so it was even worse in a way.
Oh, God.
For context, my parents moved in with my grandparents to take care of them during their final years as they were declining quickly. My grandmother was somewhat of a hoarder. I'm talking stockpiles of canned goods from the 80s, infomercial purchases that were never even opened from the box, and crates full of Christmas decorations. To make room for my parents to move in, my mom started secretly going through the rooms in the house, tidying up and getting rid of things they no longer needed. I think it was a year before they both passed, and I got a call from my mom while I was at work. I still remember exactly what I was doing and where I was. It is that engraved in my brain. Oh, no. And I thought, oh God, this is it. Grandma or grandpa passed away. And I braced myself for the upsetting news. And honey, was it upsetting? My mom was barely holding it together, and I started to panic through what I thought were tears, but turned out to be laughter, or both. She blurted out she had just found a whole dresser full of her parents' sex toys. Dildos, handcuffs, porn VHSs, vibrators, you name it. Nobody can ever prepare you for hearing that your lovely grandparents were super freaky at one point in their lives.
Hell yeah.
I was thankful that day they were still kicking it. I could have gone my whole life without knowing about their secret stash, though. Feel free to read on the pod if you feel so inclined, and thank you for creating content that has made me more comfortable around the topic of death in a lighthearted way. Love, your Geoff, Bailey. Oh my God, Bailey, I am so sorry that you know that information, but your grandparents were young ones, and maybe they were using them
at any age.
At any age.
Oh yeah.
Good for them.
People are fucking.
A whole dresser full, I will say, is wild.
Yeah, but
who cares?
A lifetime of memories.
A lifetime of each dildo holds great memories.
Oh God, I love it. That's one thing you really don't hear about when people die. It's such like a but we want to hear it. So please.
Yeah, but
more.
But they're gone.
Yeah.
Her grandparents were still alive. She had to
She had to
still look in their eyes. Like, I know about your dresser.
Oh God. Do you remember like ever like being at friends' houses and they would like show you their parents' weird things? Like I remember one time going over to a friend's house and they were like, oh, look at this. And it was like a closet full of like weird porno movies and stuff.
Love like a 90s parent that had...
Oh, because they were still in their... You know what I always wonder? I'm like, okay, who are the people now that are going to like adult store? You know what I mean? Like obviously people go there to buy lube and dildos and fucking whatever is there. Mm-hmm. But like who are the people buying the DVDs? You know?
Why are they even making DVDs still?
Yeah. I mean, I guess there's a demographic, but it's interesting. I'm like, with the computer and the internet,
well,
maybe it's a thrill. Maybe like popping in a fucking DVD is like...
Yeah. Well, also, unless you're like paying for a service, that sounds weird in this context, like paying for one of the websites where you can get the full video. Like with a DVD, you get the full thing.
Well, what do you mean?
Because a lot of pornos
you've heard
are cut down, like scenes. The videos are like
How long do you need?
They can be hours.
Yeah?
Full stories.
Oh, you want the full story?
I have to have the full story.
Really?
I have to.
Oh, that's interesting.
Oh my God. I can't just go into it without knowing the characters.
Really?
And their backstories. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting because maybe that's like a difference in women and men.
Uh-huh. It is.
Because I'm like, let's see it.
Oh, take me to Pound Down, okay?
Let's see it. Show me the timestamp. Show me the timestamp, man. I ain't got time for that. Oh, fuck.
Oh, God.
Just kidding. We've never.
That is disgusting.
Porn kills love.
Yeah.
You seen those campaigns?
Yes.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, we're big pro-adult entertainment on this show.
Yes. Let them live, honey.
Do you ever wonder, like, who from life listens that you know, really?
Yeah. I was at a funeral. Wait, I didn't tell you this. I was at a funeral last weekend. One of my sisters is my half-sister, but we've never, like, felt
yeah, sure.
that way. Yeah.
Just by title, on paper.
Yeah. Her dad passed away, and I went to his first formal funeral, and then they had like the spreading of the ashes, which was this past weekend. And then we went to like a restaurant, and they had a big celebration. So my sister's uncle comes up to me, and he's like such a nice, classy guy. He's like a lawyer, like buttoned up. And he's like, Madison, I listened to your podcast. And I was like, oh, fuck, what? He's like, you got a mouth on you.
Oh, shit.
Oh, my God, you have no idea. And I was like, yeah, bye.
Thank you.
I'm going to go now.
Well, shout out. Hello, if you're listening.
Shout out. I don't know if I want to say his name.
No, don't. We won't out him.
No.
Talk about dating. Dating, and then people find out about the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
That's a strange thing.
I know.
Well, I'll tell you guys this story. So I'm dating, like dating.
Say it
someone.
With your chest.
I go on a date with this guy. I'm like, okay, cool. He's cool. And then we end up talking about like what we do for work or whatever. I like try and explain to the best of my ability.
And he sounds like a doll.
So far, so good. And that was our first date. Afterwards, he had texted me like, what's the name of your podcast? And I was like, oh, I'll tell you.
Like the Joe Rogan Experience.
Yeah. But then he was like, no, really? And I was like, I'll tell you on the second date. And that was like my way of like securing a second date. Well, little did I know he fucking found it. He Googled me, found it anyways.
Well.
As he should, as is fair, as I would do the same.
Yeah.
Second date, I like show up, we go to this restaurant and we're sitting there and he's like, so I listened to your podcast. And I was like, what?
You're like, first of all, which one?
Yeah, I was like, which one?
Totally just a little more buttoned up.
He's like, well, I listened to Obituary. And I was like, oh, okay. Actually, I said to him, I didn't say okay. I said, I want to take my skin off in this restaurant right now. And I was like, what did you listen to? What'd you hear about me? He was like, oh, I listened to the first episode. And I was like,
oh no.
I'm like, because that was, years ago. I don't know. Probably very unhinged, but I was like, okay. And then he's like, yeah. And then I listened to Cult Leader. And I was like, God. I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, it's cool. It's funny, blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay. So anyways, that happened, but it was something that like, it's just such like a strange experience and the other day I was talking to him on the phone and he's like, oh yeah, I was listening to you talk about something. And I said, stop listening to me. Because I feel like it's giving him a one up, right? He gets to like hear my thoughts.
Now he's going to know about your
listening
porn
right
preferences.
now. Yeah. If you're listening right now, stop it. Turn it off. But he called me the other day and he's like, oh yeah, I was just listening. And I said, stop listening to me. He's like, no, I feel like I'm getting to know you from another angle. And I said, yeah, but I don't get to do that. That's not fair.
Yeah, that's true.
But so far, so good. We also record these weeks in advance. I could have a different update for you in a couple weeks.
Okay. Who knows if this will even make it into the episode?
Who knows? If it does, we might be on to something.
Okay.
Something might be happening.
All right.
Okay. Moving on, please.
Moving on. You're up first this week.
Well, why do I have a side bitch on my notes then? I just looked at you like, what the fuck? I was extra prepared, I guess.
Okay.
But I'm not going to read it, and you're just going to have to wait for that. Oh, but I really like it. Okay, but I'm gonna let you go ahead and read that obituary. I'm up first this week. Oh. You got a side bitch for us?
Yeah, I do.
Let's hear it.
I don't know if I should play the video first.
Okay.
No, I'm going to read his obituary first. This is for Eric Mays. He passed away recently. This is from ABC 12. Outspoken Flint City Councilman Eric Mays dies. The city of Flint is mourning the loss of outspoken Councilman Eric Mays, who died on Saturday. The city announced Mays' death Saturday evening. The 65-year-old's death was attributed to natural causes after an illness. Flint Mayor Sheldon Neely says Mays' bold and courageous service made him beloved among his constituents in the First Ward. Neely said Mays' strong presence will be missed at City Hall. This is a tremendous loss for our community and a shock to all friends and family, Neely said. As our community grieves during this difficult time, on behalf of Councilman Mays' family, we ask that community members respect their privacy and allow them time and space to mourn. We continue to lift the family in prayer. Neely ordered flags to fly at half-staff at Flint City Hall in Mays' honor beginning Monday. Mays represented the First Ward on the Flint City Council for more than 10 years. He often received the most votes of any of his colleagues on the council, showing his enduring popularity among his constituents. He first was elected in November 2013 to succeed Anita Brown in representing the city's northwest side. First Ward voters elected Mays to his third term on the council in November 2021. He served as council president for part of 2021 and chairman of the powerful Finance Committee in 2018. Mays ran unsuccessfully for mayor in 2022 against former Flint Mayor Karen Weaver and Neely, the current mayor. Councilman Mays was not only a dedicated public servant, but also a tireless champion for the people of Flint. His unwavering commitment to the betterment of our community has left an indelible mark, and his absence will be deeply felt by all who had the privilege of knowing him. It goes on to talk about some of his career, but the reason I wanted to read this and the reason that I know who he is because he's TikTok famous.
Oh.
I have watched this man's videos so much.
I've never heard of him before, and I'm like, what the fuck
I feel
are you
like you'll know.
Okay.
I'm going to play on here a compilation of some of his funny moments. This man gave it to everybody. He didn't put up with anything. He would mock, mimic. He was fucking hilarious.
Oh, let's hear it.
I have the floor, do I?
Yes, you do.
Thank you very much.
What a fool. Are you okay, Miss Worthing? Are you okay?
That, but
Miss Worthing, are you okay? Why are you asking?
I mean, you're just sitting in your chair.
And you be eating food like we at McDonald's. You be, listen.
Councilman Mays, don't.
Don't you interrupt me when I start talking, so don't.
Mays, you are out of order,
Okay,
and I'm giving you your warning.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Disorderly.
I'm sorry.
I rule you out of order, and I ask that you would be dismissed from this meeting.
Nope.
I love him.
Lower. Who you lecturing and talking to? That ain't your job to talk down to me, ma'am. I'm full grown. Now I'm ruling you out of order, and I'm giving you your first warning. Don't you ever talk to me. Just ask me what my point of information is. You sound like a fool.
You are out of order.
You doggone right I am.
The fact is, if you can just sit your tail down in the seat, then you know what's going on in the meeting.
I ain't got no tail, girl.
I love him so much. If you guys go look up Eric Mays on TikTok, and there will be compilation after compilation. I would want to go to city council meetings just to see him.
And that's what we need, people involved. People who will attract the public.
That is true. So rest in peace.
Should we take a quick break and we come back? I'll tell you what had me spinning in my coffin.
Let's do it.
We'll be right back.
And we're back. Spencer, what had you spinning in your coffin this week?
Well, Madison, I'm glad you asked. During a recent episode, when I was talking about the QR code segment, we briefly touched on the topic of holograms, and I told you I was working on something. So for my coffin spinner, I did a full-on deep dive. But first, we're going to get into a little history lesson on holography.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
hallelujah.
Hallelujah for holographics. Am I right?
Am I right?
Spirit came through, and it just wants me to tell you all.
Okay.
You're meant to hear this for a reason right now.
Okay, all right.
The invention of holography is credited to Hungarian-British physicist Dennis Gabor, who developed the theory of holography in 1947. However, it wasn't until the invention of the laser in the 1960s that practical holograms became possible.
The laser?
Yeah.
Okay.
Holograms were initially developed for scientific purposes such as improving electron microscopy and providing a means for three-dimensional imaging. Over time, their applications expanded into various fields, including art, security, entertainment, and data storage. But I really just want to focus on the entertainment bit. So let's get into the entertainment bit. I remember first hearing about hologram concerts and thinking, what a bizarre concept, right? Like something feels very off and kind of wrong about displaying a deceased person on stage as a money grab. Mm-hmm. The first real instance I remember hearing about was when they did like a Whitney Houston concert. Did you ever hear about that?
No.
They did. And there's this writer, Dave Simpson, who captured the event in an article for The Guardian titled An Evening with Whitney Review. Houston Hologram is ghoulish cash-in. And the name alone confirmed some of my suspicions. And he kicks off the article writing, quote, "Welcome to Whitney Houston, very much alive," says the star of the show, except she isn't Houston. The American singer died aged 48 in 2012, yet has been recreated by a touring hologram. The music business has formed in this area. Elvis died in 1977 and has been in concert on screen for years, backed by original musicians. However, Holo Whitney is something else. It's eerily realistic, give or take its unusually floppy arms, occasionally jerky movements, and the fact that it barely moves feet each way from the center stage. The mouth doesn't always seem quite in sync with the vocals. Holo Whitney certainly doesn't appear to open its mouth wide enough to emit the gigantic whoa-whoa-whoas that are supposedly coming out of it. The hologram doesn't walk on or off the stage, but appears and disappears like an astral projection, at one point emerging through the floor. The live band being all but invisible behind lighting screens adds to the sense of smoke and mirrors. There is one admittedly dazzling visual moment when Whitney dissolves in a blaze of fireworks and instantly is replaced by another in a different costume. For all the technology on display, it's most remarkable to remember that the phenomenal singing voice used once belonged to an actual human being. If you close your eyes, it's possible to bask in that voice and in the unadulterated joy of "I want to dance with somebody and how will I know?" But when you open them, it's deeply unsettling. "Come on, Whitney," someone yells bizarrely while the dead star's impassioned cries of "no matter what they take from me, they can't take away my dignity" jar awkwardly with the sense of a ghoulish cash-in, though perhaps not as much as cash intended given the rows of empty seats. There's a flickering chasm where a huge talent and vulnerable person used to be. Far from celebrating Houston, the hologram tour is a reminder of tragedy and the enormity of what was lost. And I do think it's like equal parts eerie, as he described it in the article, but also a little comical in a very dark way. Like picturing a crowd of people gathered around a hologram is so fucking weird to me.
Yeah, but I'm picturing this hologram like walking on stage, and that feels so wild to me, but I want to see it.
You love it.
I would love to see Whitney Houston. Are you fucking kidding me?
Well, yeah, but Whitney Houston alive.
I know. And did she approve this? Like,
yeah. I don't know. There's something. It feels exploitative to me, I guess, because.
But it feels like a good time too.
I know.
Yeah.
Who knows? I don't know. I don't know what's right and what's wrong. Another big example was when Tupac made an appearance at Coachella in 2012.
That's the first time I heard about a hologram.
That was alongside Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre, which sent fans and conspiracy theorists over the edge with excitement. Remember, everyone's like, wait a second. I don't know. It's sort of dystopian. Like, I'd be upset if they were doing live shows with us.
I'd love it.
You would?
Yeah.
Okay.
As long as they're doing it in a way that makes us look good.
Yeah.
I don't know, and not being disrespectful, but what's the difference between that and playing them on screen?
I guess that's true, too. That's one way to think about it. I don't know. It was like an interesting debate that I kept going back and forth in my head because, of course, I'm like, oh, this is so cool. Like, how amazing would it be to see Elvis? Like,
that would be...
like, not in person, but on a stage. I don't know.
Walk out?
Well...
on stage?
Light out.
But still.
Yeah.
3D.
I know. It's really one of those things that I like grapple with.
And it's how far is too far. Okay, the concert is one thing, but then are they going to have a meet and greet with the hologram? Are they going to have
get a picture with
that gets
film a TikTok with Elvis.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. But I wanted to dive into this article from Wired from Leo Kim because it's fantastic. And I feel like it really they definitely have their own viewpoint of it. And the headline read, "Deep fakes can help family mourn or exploit their grief. Death holograms aren't inherently creepy. They're part of a lineage of grief technologies that stretches back to photography." And it's going to get really fucking interesting. And there's a lot of obituary tie-ins here.
Okay.
Quote, "We now have the ability to reanimate the dead. Improvements in machine learning over the past decade have given us the ability to break through the fossilized past and see our dearly departed as they once were, talking, moving, and smiling. Though deepfake tools have been around for some time, they've become increasingly available to the general public in recent years thanks to products like Deep Nostalgia, developed by ancestry site MyHeritage, that allow the average person to breathe life back into those they've lost. These technologies generate controversy whenever they're used, with critics deeming the moving images so lifelike yet void of life. Just disturbing, creepy, and admittedly queasy." In the article, they go on to reference the Kardashian situation that we talked about last week, saying, "In 2020, when Kanye got Kim a hologram of her late father for her birthday, writers quickly decried this gift as a move out of Black Mirror. Moral grandstanding soon followed, with some claiming that it was impossible to imagine how this could bring any kind of comfort or joy to the average human being. If Kim actually appreciated the gift, as it seems she did, it was a sign that something must be wrong with her. To these critics, the gift was an exercise in narcissism, evidence of a self-involved ego playing at God. But technology has always been wrapped up in our practice of mourning, so to act as if these tools are categorically different from the ones that came before, or to institute that the people who derive meaning from them are victims of naive delusion, ignores the history from which they're born." In the article, they go on to say, rather than shun these tools, we should invest in them to make safer, more inclusive, and better equipped to help the countless millions who will be grieving in the years to come. And I do agree with this because you think about the other end of like holograms and deep fakes and AI technology where they're making it look like certain celebrities are doing porn and things like that, or like even, young
terrible
underage people. It's really fucked up what people can do with technology now, because there's always going to be like a balance of like, oh, this is really great because ABC, but then it's also really terrible because of XYZ. Like, look at, social media, great in so many ways, but then the suicide rate is so high among kids nowadays.
Double-edged.
The bullying, everything, it's fucked. But what I found most interesting about this article in particular was they also mentioned spirit photography.
Oh, we did a whole coffin spinner on that.
We did. I love how they tied this in because they said to understand the lineage of these tools, we need to go back to another notable period of death in the U.S., the Civil War. Here, the great tragedy intersected not with growing access to deepfake technologies, but with the increasing availability of photography, a still young medium that could, as if by magic, affix the visible world result into a surface through a mechanical process of chemicals and light. It's so true. I've talked on Cult Leader about it a bunch. We've talked about it on this show a bunch. But like after all the wars is when like so many things were introduced, like mediums and obviously spirit photography. There's just so much that has come from moments of despair with people trying to like hold on to the deceased. The article says, dubbed spirit photographs, these images, as we know, showcase living relatives flanked by ghostly apparitions. They go on more in detail about how that all works, but we've already talked about that pretty in depth. But they say Charles Dickens voiced his dissent when he wrote that Victorian mourning practices were a barbarous system that perpetuated dishonest debt, profuse waste, and bad example. So he was a naysayer on all of this. Such critics saw this form of grief as irresponsible, selfish, a diversion from public duties that community members ought to be focusing on. Similarities between this moralizing and the criticisms directly toward Kanye and Kim over a century later shouldn't be ignored. The history of technology's relationship to mourning runs parallel to a history of people attempting to circumscribe the way we grieve, to delimit a mode that they deem proper as opposed to one that is decadent, narcissistic, and self-involved. And I think that point can even be drawn to like the cuddle cots that you were talking about. Like there are, I'm sure, people that are like, oh, I don't think, people should be able to do that.
Right.
But then people are like, no, this like actually helped me
Grieve.
Yeah. So much. I'm going to wrap it up shortly, but they said that we can still see the legacy of the practices, even though the technological landscape has changed since the spirit photographs of the 19th century. And they say, take, for example, the TikTok phenomenon in which users apply a green screen scan effect to show themselves alongside late family members. By choosing background images featuring their late loved ones, users can create new images with their current selves posing alongside those who have passed. It's really a spirit photograph for the 21st century.
Or remember that filter that would...
It'd make them smile.
And like blink, yeah.
Yeah.
And it would like bring tears to your eyes. Like, oh.
I know, but there's something also weird about it to me. I didn't do it, but also I think people that lost people a really long time ago, before videos or anything. Like I know I have videos and stuff of my mom or other family members that I love, but yeah, I don't know. It's strange.
I think whatever works for that individual.
Yeah. I mean, the technological advances from our generation, or like this point in humanity, the past few decades has been so, I feel like we went from 0 to 100, even though a lot of things, like obviously even holograms, right? Research on this started back in the 1930s and then it became possibility in the 60s. We've made so many advances, but it's still such a lawless land when it comes to social media and AI technology and everything. I mean, we were talking about this the other day. Being a student now, if I was in high school now and I could use ChatGPT or AI to work on my homework or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
I guarantee there's going to be programs that can tell if something is AI. I mean, there probably already is. Or like if something was put through ChatGPT, or how else would our educators or whoever is supposed to know? It's just
And how accurate is it?
That's one thing I still don't think it's very...
I mean, look at the Willy Wonka thing we talked about last week. Yeah. Like the spelling.
The amount of scams that people are going to be able to do, though, now with like AI and stuff, and the more information that we give and the more, I don't know.
Scary.
Not to be like a fear mongerer or whatever, but like, it is such a strange landscape that we live in right now. Holograms are cool in some ways. I think it's cool that we can create this 3D person, but I also think it's just... should we be, that's my question, is should we be messing with the deceased? I don't know.
I think
morally, if that's right.
Yeah. I think now that we know that maybe in your will or something you could put like, you can use my image for a hologram. For a concert or whatever.
And what are the effects in grieving with that? Like what if somebody loses their husband and then they have access to have a hologram of him and they just are never able to cope or move on because they...
Like a Black Mirror. Remember that Black Mirror episode? It wasn't a hologram. It was like...
a doll version of the husband that was alive.
Yeah.
And he's up in the attic.
Yes.
Remember? And she like takes him out of the box and he's like, I just remember like there's like a wet scene.
You have to like activate him in the bath.
Yeah.
And then she like tried to,
That can't be good to help through grieving.
No. But probably feels so good in that moment when you're like, I just want them back.
Yeah.
And they're there.
Wild. There you go.
All righty.
We'll take one more quick break, and then we'll hear what had you spinning in your coffin. We'll be right back. And we're back. What had you spinning in your coffin this week?
Well, while I was at the doctor's getting, a little work done on my face this week, I was sitting there just talking about myself.
Okay.
And I started talking about obituary. Our doctor's assistant started asking questions just about the show and like, oh, that's really interesting. And she asked one that I could not answer. It was something along the lines of, how long do you have to report a deceased person? And I know that you did an episode a while ago about how long do you have to bury somebody, but I don't think we ever touched on how long you have to report a deceased body. And so I couldn't answer it. So today I decided I would get us some answers and then talk about some cases of people who failed to report a deceased loved one or friend, and then some that turned into like a Weekend at Bernie's situation.
Okay.
Okay. So generally speaking, in the United States, there's not a specific amount of time. Like there's not a law that says you have to report this dead body within 3 hours, for example, because truthfully, every situation is unique. If a death occurs in a hospital or health facility, usually the medical staff is responsible for reporting it. If someone dies at home or in a public setting, the people who are present at the time of death usually are responsible. Then there are violent deaths or unexpected deaths, which should be reported immediately. But most of everything I read said that you should promptly report a death. Most of the time, a funeral director, coroner, or law enforcement will then report those deaths to Social Security offices and go through the proper protocols. So you as a loved one or family member can also directly call Social Security if you have, I'm assuming, access to the person's Social Security number. However, each state has different rules about the concealment of a dead body. The concealment of a dead body, according to codes.findlaw.com.
Oh, my favorite website.
Says, quote, number 1, to perform an overt act that conceals the body or directly impedes the ability of authorities or family members to discover the body, or to directly destroy or suppress evidence of the actual physical body.
Just think of like murder.
Yeah, of the deceased, including but not limited to bodily fluids or tissues, and then also to destroy or suppress the physical instrumentality of death. And that was pertaining to the California Penal Code 152. So that's California's laws. But to give another example of this, Vice.com wrote an article called, "Do You Have to Tell the Cops If You Find a Dead Body? It depends where you live." And the article gives the example of a woman named Elizabeth, and this is a true story. Her older sister died in 2015 of natural causes. Elizabeth and her sister lived together in Oregon. Elizabeth never reported her sister's death to anyone. She left her sister to rot in her bed for 5 months. The reason she was discovered was because Elizabeth fell one day and needed medical help, and the first responders came and found her sister's remains. But in Oregon, and this article is from 2017, I couldn't find whether these laws have changed since, but it was not illegal what she did. She didn't try to move the deceased sister or conceal her. She just never reported her. So it was not illegal. That article explains a few other examples. Michigan once had a similar law to this, but it was changed. And if you fail to report a deceased person, you could go to prison for up to a year and pay a $1,000 fine. Pennsylvania and Kentucky were also mentioned in this article about their laws about promptly reporting a death or else. So you should report a death as soon as possible, and don't try to move a body. Don't try to conceal a body.
Yeah.
Just a general rule of thumb.
Sure.
Speaking of Kentucky, I have a wild story that comes out of Kentucky about someone else who didn't report a death. So we have Faye Whiteford and her son, John. Faye was a retired school teacher. She lived in the Science Hill area of Kentucky in a home with her son, John. She was elderly, so John took care of her. And in 2011, at 96 years old, she died of natural causes. John was incredibly dependent on her Social Security checks that she received monthly. And he knew that if he reported her death, the Social Security checks would stop. So instead, he put her body into a deep freezer and kept collecting the Social Security checks. Those checks weren't enough to keep up with the mortgage on that home, so the home went into foreclosure 2 years later. Not only did he have to find another place to live, he had his mom in a freezer, so he eventually found a new home across town that he rented, but it was in really, really bad condition, so he let his dead mom live there, and he ended up staying in a friend's home that was next to the home that was being foreclosed on.
Okay.
So he put her there, moved somewhere else. People started to talk. Friends of John's felt like something was way off. They felt like, there were no signs of life from his mom. Eventually, the Social Security office noticed that Faye hadn't made any medical claims in 3 years, so they sent out a wellness check on her. And John was questioned a bunch by them, and then he was questioned by local police, where he admitted that his mom died, but he didn't know where she was or what happened. That same month, a deputy was sent out to where he was living to do some more questioning. And while the detective was there in the doorway asking questions, John pulls out a pistol and kills himself. Terrible, but no one knew where his mom's body was still until they went to the first rental home. They ended up finding her wrapped up in a tarp outside because apparently the winter was so freezing in Kentucky that John didn't think that she needed to be in a freezer any longer. And it looks like she really did die of natural causes, but John just never reported the death so he could keep getting checks.
Wow.
Wild.
Well, I feel like that's like I feel like the two most common reasons, and we'll hear with yours, I'm sure, but I feel like it's either desperate love, like a Carl Tanzler. Or trying to collect that money, honey.
Social Security.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. This one is wild. In Denver, we have a Weekend at Bernie's case. Okay. In 2010, a man named Jeffrey Jarrett let his friend who went to college with him crash at his house for a few months. His friend's name was Robert Young. Robert Young needed to have, a few months to get on his feet, and Jeffrey was a good enough friend to let him crash with him. So one night, Robert and Jeffrey, they're living together. Robert was out and he comes home and finds Jeffrey unresponsive. Jeffrey was dead.
Oh, no. He was letting him stay with him and he died at his house?
Jeffrey's the homeowner.
Oh, God. Was he like, I'm going to take over this house?
Not quite. Robert knew that he was dead, but didn't call 911. And instead, Robert leaves, which is okay. At least he's not trying to conceal the death. Right?
Still, why do you leave? It looks suspicious to me.
I know. Robert leaves and goes straight to a restaurant where another one of his friends works, and his friend is a guy named Mark. Robert and Mark leave the restaurant, go back to Jeffrey's house, and load Jeffrey up into their car, take him to Teddy T's Bar and Grill.
What?
Jeffrey's deceased.
Yeah.
They leave him in the back seat, though.
Sure. Hope they left the AC on.
I know. Robert and Mark go inside with Jeffrey's money, though, and have a round of drinks on him. They then still wanted to stay out, but they thought Jeffrey was kind of a buzzkill, so they took him back home. They went out, though, with his ATM card to get some more food, and they spent $400 at Shotgun Willie's strip club.
Oh, yeah?
At 4 a.m., they flag down an officer and basically say to the officer, hey, we think our friend is probably at home dead. The two were obviously arrested and pled guilty to abuse of a corpse. there was footage of...
And using the money, too.
Well, yes. They received 2 years probation, fines, community service. They both must maintain full-time employment and have random drug tests, and also had to undergo treatment for substance abuse and mental health evaluations. Jeffrey's toxicology report came back with alcohol and cocaine in his system, so...
I'm telling you this, if I die, I'm going to like put it in my will or something. Like I want you to take me, if I die before you, like take me to the In-N-Out drive-thru.
Oh!
And like take me to like a store or something, you know?
Okay.
Okay?
You got it.
It's on me.
They weren't charged with his death, obviously, but they're just fucking
How
assholes.
did he die? It
I
doesn't
believe
say.
it was like an overdose.
Okay.
They found alcohol and cocaine in his system, so
Okay.
probably. One of them was interviewed, and they said, if I knew that he was dead right away at his house, I would have called the cops and not touched the body. That's why I'm getting the charge of abuse of corpse. They're saying that I knew he was dead and I abused a corpse. Well, honey, how do you not know he's dead?
I don't know, because you sometimes give corpse when you're sleeping.
Would you try to load me up in your car and go to TJ's Grill or whatever with my money?
I might.
Okay.
Would you be mad?
I mean, not really. Honey, they knew he was dead. They flagged him down at 4 a.m.
Maybe it was like a thing they'd always talked about, like,
No, I think these guys were weirdos.
yeah.
Okay, last story comes out of Indiana. It happened in 2021.
Indiana, we don't hear about you a whole lot.
I know.
You're a little mysterious to us. What's going on?
Well, this happened here. So, a woman named Jacqueline lives at home with her mom, Cynthia.
Okay.
Jacqueline's husband, Jason, also lives at home with, I guess, his mother-in-law, Cynthia. Cynthia and Jason rarely talked, and then also 2 other kids, I guess, lived at this house.
Okay.
On January 29th of 2021, a welfare check was called to the house because there was an anonymous tip of suspicious circumstances.
Ooh.
Officers arrived to Jacqueline's house with a search warrant. They walk in, and I guess the house was just a fucking mess. Garbage and animal feces filled the floor.
Ugh.
A dog and a few cats lived there. As the police looked around, they say that Jacqueline's mom, Cynthia, was sitting in a chair in the living room with some blankets on her and a pillow behind her head. The officers could tell immediately that she was dead
Oh, shit.
because of the fact that
It's just like, sorry, it's just a skeleton sitting there.
well, she was starting to severely decay. Her skin was starting to peel off. You could see the bones in her hands. Insects were all over her.
Oh, God.
And it looked like the animals in the house had gotten in a couple of bites
Oh,
postmortem.
my God.
Obviously, Jacqueline was questioned. She ended up confessing that, her mom died and she didn't want to be lonely. So she left her there. She also took $3,000 from her mom's checking account, but she didn't want to be lonely either. So she didn't report the death.
Oh.
Her husband tried to say, because, he lives there too, that he didn't notice that his mother-in-law was dead. Because they rarely talk, but he did happen to ask her on the day that she was found, January 29th. I guess he was making dinner and he went up to her in that chair asking, hey, do you want some dinner? And he could tell that she was dead and he walked away. They were both arrested and charged with failure to report human remains.
Jesus.
So, you guys, it's very important.
Report it.
Report it.
If you see something.
Say something.
Oh, beautiful, Madison. Thank you for that. It felt almost cult leader-esque a little bit. I like it.
A little, okay. If I'm crossing a line, let me
No,
know.
cross it. I love to hear it. Well, no, because you know what? On Cult Leader, I did an episode called Forever Valentines once. And it was about multiple different cases of people. And remember, we watched that, I think it was, oh shit, I don't want to butcher her name. But I made you watch a documentary on that woman who died in her house and was not found. Joyce Carol Vincent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was like wrapping Christmas presents.
Yeah. And no one found her for years.
God.
sad.
It's very sad.
Well, it's going to get a little crazier because it's time for obituaries, and mine is for somebody that we all know and hate. And we actually got this sent to us from a Geoff. They wrote, "Hello, Spencer, Madison, magnificent Geoffs and associated spouses and fur darlings.
Oh.
I'm a ghoul from Wisconsin." Hey, my best friend Carolyn's mom's from Wisconsin.
Oh, a ghoul from Wisconsin?
She's a ghoulish gal from Wisconsin, from Baraboo.
Okay.
And as such, was reading about Ed Gein, the individual responsible for murdering at least 2 women, Bernice Worden and Mary Hogan, in the 1950s, as well as grave robbing and doing further unsavory things with corpses from the local cemetery. I won't go into detail about that, but we'll just say he was a DIYer, Though the things he did were indeed beyond terrible, he seems to have been a man who, like many others who go on to do such terrible things, was deeply affected by abuse and indoctrination from a young age. After he was arrested in 1957, he lived in mental institutions until he died in 1984. Since then, his name has lived in infamy, and there have been countless stories and characters based on him and his atrocities. Leatherface, Norman Bates, to name a few. He was a forerunner of modern serial killers before the unfortunate boom that hit in the 60s to 80s, and did some of the most bizarre things with those he victimized. I think I did a whole cult leader on this, but it was a long time ago. I don't even remember. The point of this is to establish the sort of notoriety that followed Gein after he was exposed. Here in Wisconsin, at least, he still has a celebrity-like status that everyone knows someone who has a story relating to Gein. Even my grandmother had a story that she seemed to fully believe up until the day she died. We had a couple of family farms that would have only been an hour or so west of Plainfield where Gein lived, and my grandmother would hitchhike to get from place to place. Apparently, Ed Gein gave her a ride one day. She recognized him and his car later on when the news of his arrest came out. That's like Ted Bundy. I feel like everyone has a relative who's like, yeah, they were in the bug. They went in his car. Maybe she did, though.
Surprised my sister doesn't have.
Oh my God.
Remember she has the O.J. Simpson story?
She passed away some years ago, so I unfortunately can't ask her anymore about it, but it doesn't sound like anything alarming happened. She would have been in her early 20s or so at the time and probably wouldn't have matched his MO. Thank God. Seriously. Well, long story short, I grew curious today and looked up Ed Gein's obituary and was surprised by just how short and simple it was, tucked between 2 articles about a public disturbance arrest and the price of wool that are both longer than this obituary. If you didn't know who he was, your eyes would glance right over it. Maybe that's for the best. From the Stevens Point Journal, July 28th, 1984. It says, Gein burial. Private burial for Ed Gein, 77, a former Plainfield area resident, took place in the Plainfield Village Cemetery. No services were held. Gaswork Funeral Home in Plainfield handled arrangements. Mr. Gein died Thursday morning at Mendota Mental Institute, Madison, of respiratory failure, according to Institute officials. He was born on August 26th of 1906 in La Crosse, son of the late George and Augusta Gein. He was a farmer. He had been in state mental institutions since his arrest in 1957 for killing a woman. There are no survivors. I wonder who put the obituary out, though. Is that interesting?
That is interesting.
They wrote, anyway, love your show. It's gotten me through many boring work days, and whenever I make a stupid chortle out of nowhere, it's almost certainly because I'm listening to Obituary. Much love, Big D. Any pronouns, feel free to use my name.
Thanks, Big D.
Thank you, Big D.
Thanks, Big D.
I wonder if you know Big Hands.
Yeah. P.S. Ed Gein's grave can still be visited in Plainfield, though you have to look up where it is since his headstone was vandalized and removed. A lot of people go there to check it out, but if you do go, please also visit Bernice Worden's grave. Too often we forget about the victims in these cases.
Very true.
People will sometimes leave coins on her headstone to let her know that despite being buried in the same cemetery as her killer, she's not overshadowed by him there. Very weird.
Buried in the same cemetery.
Ugh, get him out of there.
Get him out.
Please.
DIY him.
Yeah.
Please.
Oh, God. Thank you for sharing that, though. That was a very interesting, nice, well-written email.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thanks, Big D.
Thank you, Big D. Shout out, Big D.
We're always shouting out Big D. We love Big D.
We love Big D energy.
Yeah, baby. Okay, who you got?
All right, well, I have a sweet one for Petch. Petch passed away quietly into the next journey on January 19th, 2024, after a 10-year marathon against ALS. Petch started life with a unique name, our paternal grandmother's maiden name, and he lived up to that uniqueness every day. His choice of glasses, haircuts, clothing, and sense of humor reminded us daily of his uniqueness. He graduated from Edison High School, highest honors, and the University of St. Thomas, summa cum laude, with a double major in biology and chemistry, held 3 jobs in his entire life. Busboy at Jack's Cafe, volunteer teacher in the Peace Corps, and production supervisor at the potato factory. Petch was loved by all who knew him, and especially by his many friends from high school, most of whom worked with him at Jack's. While in college, Petch became a rock star in the band Dick and the Tees, who went on to make 2 movies, Introducing Dick and the Tees and Up from Down. After his breakout success, he left the country for the quiet of teaching science in the tiny island country of Tonga. There he met Sono, who would become his first wife and mother of his children. During his illness, Sono, along with Petch's second wife, Selga, and our sister Peggy, held Thursday night girls' time when they would wash Petch, watch Big Bang Theory, and remake his bed.
Oh,
That's so sweet. Petch spent his time attending Catholic Mass, shopping at Cub, going to Menards, and being home. His car could only go to those 4 places. He was an avid fan of punk rock, David Lynch, John Waters, Camels.
hell yeah.
Love him.
Love this guy.
Exploring altered states and bad television, especially Jerry Springer, Maury, and Cops.
Do you remember every show we had where there was a TV in the green room, we turned on Cops before we went out?
Like soothed us. He and Selga raised countless cats, fish, and a few lizards, one named Norman until he laid eggs, then Norma. Their flower gardens were always the talk of the neighborhood and the place where he and Selga loved to spend their time. Petch's final years were blessed with watching the gardens that Selga tended and the bad television. He is survived by his wife Selga, his son, daughters, their mother, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, a whole bunch of people. Even though he was a recluse, he will be missed by his family and friends and will never be forgotten.
Aww.
In remembrance of Petch's life and love, the family asked that any charitable donations be made to the ALS Association.
We should and we will make a donation to
Yes.
the ALS Association. My
Love
Grandpa
Petch.
Dickie
He
died
had
from
ALS.
Yeah.
Aw.
Well, we've spun in our coffins.
We have bitched our obituaries.
And that means it's time for some dumb.
Ask
Criminals.
criminals. Who do you got?
I have a Florida man
Oh my gosh.
who told police that his wife was abducted by intruders using holograms, honey.
Okay.
We're taking it back, okay? In February 2014, the man stated that they used holograms to project signals on the walls to get him to do what they wanted and to communicate with each other, according to the police report.
Oh my God.
When Martin County Sheriff's investigators approached a rental trailer in Florida, one of its inhabitants informed them that his wife had been abducted by intruders who were using holograms. The 53-year-old man was extremely agitated when he told a deputy that they, quote, abducted her. According to a police report, the man stated that they used holograms to project signals onto the wall to get him to do what they wanted and to communicate with each other. And just imagine being in that predicament, honey. You're sitting there.
Terrifying.
You're sitting there one moment, next thing you know, they're on the walls telling you Cisco's got to go, okay? After the man's
Whitney Houston is there telling me.
And she's projecting liberty too. She coming. We got Whitney Houston coming through the floor, honey. And I'm just concerned because I want to dance with somebody, but he's gone. Okay.
But how will I know?
After the man's 51-year-old wife, who may actually have been his girlfriend, was contacted, she told police she was at a trailer belonging to the man's aunt because the, quote, men had chased her there. The man and woman both said intruders used holograms to trick them into thinking they were in the house and then chased them to the aunt's trailer several lots down.
What?
The aunt told deputies the woman was seeing people and animals at her trailer that were not there.
Okay.
The
Is
owner of
this methamphetamine related?
The owner of the trailer said she planned to serve eviction notices in the very near future and that police have been called in the past because the man was in the road with a gun and the woman was digging for gold, also in the road.
What in the world?
That's all I got.
They were on a good one.
A good. Give me some of that. Fucking. I want to. I
Yeah.
want to see God. Okay.
Ew. Oh God. Okay, I have a fucking dumb. He's very much like a Norman Bates. Thomas Prusik Parkin lived with his mom, Irene, in a beautiful $2.5 million brownstone in Brooklyn. Okay?
Love it.
In the 90s, he was given the deed to her home by his mom, but they lived in it up into the early 2000s. In like 2002, 2003, the house was foreclosed upon because he couldn't keep up with the mortgage payments. And in 2003, Thomas's mom passes away. She was buried and even had a tombstone, but either her death wasn't reported or it's because he started to doctor some documents like her birth certificates and her social security numbers. He then went on for 6 years collecting her social security money.
Oh, can't do that.
Okay. Shortly after she died, he had someone pretend to be his nephew and they sued the new owners of the home that was once his that they foreclosed upon. And they claimed that Irene was still alive, so the sale was fraudulent.
What?
Yes, okay. Thomas took it to a whole nother level. He would pose as her for 6 years. He would wear her clothes, a blonde wig, sunglasses.
Oh, no.
And
Is there a picture?
Yes. He got away with cashing her checks. He even went and renewed her driver's license for her in person as her. Driver's license picture. Like, can you imagine?
Holy shit.
The whole thing with him suing the people who were buying his old house was still going on throughout these 6 years. And so he invited investigators over to his home to meet his mom.
He's like, hold on 1 minute. Hold on. Really?
Well, investigators show up to the house and he's dressed as her. He has lipstick on. His nails are done. He has a wig on, her clothes, everything. And he acts like her. Well, investigators were already on to him and they arrested him after this because they had proof of her tombstone and her burial. And he was found guilty of grand larceny and forgery and sentenced to 41 years in prison.
Let's see the picture.
Okay.
Let's see the picture.
Look at him. There he's cashing checks.
Oh my God. I didn't picture like Princess Diana hair. I pictured like.
No, she was like, I think like a classy woman.
Oh my God. I love it.
God.
Stupid.
Well,
that's what you're getting from us this week.
Well, if you want more stupid things, go to prh.com/obituary and buy our book. You can read about
so big.
Oh my God, it's so hot.
Oh, it's so dead. If you're cashing in on your dead loved one's Social Security, maybe use some of that money to purchase our book.
Yes. You can still send Spencer some birthday gifts.
I'm still accepting them.
P.O. Box 18149, Long Beach, California 90807.
But that's it for this week. We'll see you next week with some more coffin spinners
Obituaries
and dumb
ass
criminals.